Hey, it's your boy, Sergeant Hooked on Henshins. So this is going to be a video. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I might make it a part one, part two. I don't know. Kind of talking about my overall thoughts and my review overall about the Obi-Wan Kenobi series as we have it now. The time of recording right now is just a 6 episode, you know, uh, series, and that's it. They might get season two. They might get a movie. Who knows? I don't know. So, I talked in my previous video talking about why I love Star Wars that at first I used to trash the prequels hardcore. That was until I watched the Clone Wars show, Rebels, uh, The Mandalorian, and other shows that kind of touch on little parts of the prequels and kind of make some more things in those shows make in those movies make more sense and give them more emotional depth, if you will. That's what I always thought was kind of like missing or odd in those movies is the emotional depth we're used to in a Star Wars film. Um, and my goodness, I was super pumped to see this series, the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. I think Ewan McGregor does a fantastic job as the character. He always has played him very well and has always been super excited about being a part of the franchise. Hayden Christensen as well. And they both do a stellar job here. They really do. And all the other returning actors that are part of this, but they are awesome in this. We don't get as much Hayden Christensen as I was hoping, but I'm hoping that they eventually will do like a season two where we see some other parts and things like that with him in it or whatever. I also first want to preface this by saying that we need to be careful as a fandom with Star Wars or with anything to be careful with your expectations and your hype. Because I think what happens with people is that they get too focused on what they want, the lofty goal in their mind of what they want something to be, that when it's presented to them, it'll never live up to whatever lofty aspiration they had in their mind about it. And that's kind of dangerous because you're always going to be let down by things if you're not willing to just accept them for what's being presented to you. I had no clue that this show was going to be as deep a character focus on Obi-Wan, kinda, but not really. And also his relationship with Leia, but also the focus on Reva, third sister, the Inquisitor, I thought was really good. And I think they did a really good job with presenting those storylines. They make you think, at least what we a lot of us thought was like, oh, it's going to be him and Luke hanging out, blah blah blah, and it's like, well, why would he? Like Luke acts like he doesn't even know him at all, so like, why would he? Well, I mean, I guess he does say, oh, you mean old Ben Kenobi, so like he does kinda, but I mean, people acted like it was going to be this like Obi-Wan Luke like buddy cop comedy or something. I don't know, man, buddy cop, just like this thing focused just on Luke, and it wasn't. They subverted things, and they had this little girl play Leia, a young Leia, and she kicks ass in every single scene. Oh my god. She does so well. She looks exactly like she should to be a child version of Leia. Like she resembles Carrie Fisher, God rest her soul. She has similar mannerisms. She has the mannerisms down, the facial expressions down, the way the canter of talking, the way she carries herself, how like well articulated she is. That one of those very few scenes, very first few scenes of the series where some of the other Organa family are there on Alderaan, and the one little cousin is basically like screwing with her, and she has a droid come up and she says, "Well, thank you," whatever the name of the droid is. And she goes, "What?" He's like, I don't know why you said thank you." She goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You don't have to use manners with lower life forms." And she goes, "Oh." When you speak to lower life forms, she goes, "Oh, well then I guess I don't have to use them with you, do I?" And she just like is always at the top. There's never a point where she feels weak, that she feels out of character. She always feels like it always feels as though she's in control of whatever the scene is, unless she's in danger in some way. And even we'll get to that in a minute. But even then, it's still good. It's still awesome. And they did a really good job with that. The way that she pairs with Obi-Wan, that she sees how broken an old man he is. She knows he's a Jedi, but she's like, you're kind of like unimpressive and doesn't really understand him. And as the series goes, we start to see Obi-Wan open up more to her and open himself back up to the Force and becoming stronger in the Force again. And I really like that natural progression. I wasn't expecting it to be, oh, I'm going to lightsaber right away and, killing stormtroopers and whatever. He's kind of pathetic, and I think that's good. He's withdrawn, he's scared, he's terrified of what's happening. It saddens him daily to know that these inquisitors are going around questioning people that are force sensitive, finding them and taking them away, possibly murdering them or worse. And he's powerless to do anything because the Jedi are kind of gone in a way. They're not as numerous as they were. They're not as much of a force as they were before. And he's traumatized by the loss of his found family in the Jedi, by the loss of Anakin as his brother, and by the loss of the Republic as it was. He feels completely alone. His relationship with Bail Organa is good. His friendship with him, like that keeps him around. But he even like fails at trying to like somehow be a part of Luke's life. They're like, no, don't stop, back up. And they have that great line from the trailer where he says, when when it comes to the right age, he must be trained. When he is gifted, he must be trained. And Uncle Owen goes, yeah, like his father. And like I don't know if it was necessary for Obi-Wan to like tell him how much he screwed up with Anakin and that Anakin's Darth Vader, but also, yeah, you kind of needed to hear that, Obi-Wan. So I like this way. It kind of reflected sort of how Luke was in episode 8, where he's like this curmudgeonly, grumpy old man, meh, and then gets better as the movie goes on and sees that there's hope in Rey and what she can do. Same thing with Obi-Wan. He starts off that way, but once he meets Leia, he sees hope. And he sees Luke, he sees hope, a new hope, like the movie. And sees that there's a possibility that things can change, that he can reconnect with the Force, that he can be a Jedi again, and he can do what he can to help protect them while they're young, so when they're of age they'll be able to become who they need to be to save the galaxy, to change the Empire, to stop the Empire, and bring their father possibly back to the light. I also love that we started off him having no idea that Anakin's even alive and being shocked to find out that he's alive and what he's become. He thought he killed him. He thought he had left him for dead and he was gone. And that had traumatized him for years. And now it's even more trauma on him, even deeper, because he knows he was alive, struggled, and had no one to help him other than Palpatine, clearly. And as we know through other extra media pieces and stuff, the suit that Vader's in, if you didn't know, is made to, yes, keep him like alive, whatever, but it also constantly tortures him to keep him in a constant state of anger and pain to keep him strong in the dark side. So that's really sad. And to see this reflection of him and Vader, where, there's little moments where they're seeing each other, or they're like, having this, little moment where they're having all these memories flash by, was awesome. And see them struggle with that, where Vader wants to end Obi-Wan because he left him, he tells him, I am what you made me. Like, it's really chilling. And they make Vader a monster in this. Like, not that he wasn't cool before and didn't have his moments here and there in other pieces, like his fight with Ahsoka and Rebels, and the stuff he does in Rogue One, with that one hallway scene and that. He also is made out to be a true threat in this. I mean, there's a scene, spoilers with this, I'm going to make sure I let you guys know spoilers going forward and talk about the whole series. There's a scene in this where he comes up to this village and this little kid runs out to get to their dad, and he throws the kid back and snaps the kid's neck. Like, just does it and walks away. And it was chilling because, like, I always poke fun at, like, really, was Anakin, like, kill little kids bad? Yeah, he was. He was willing to do whatever it took to push himself down the right path, what he thought was the right path, the dark side, to gain the power he thought he needed to keep Padme alive. Didn't work, but still, he was committed. And the flashbacks to Order 66 in this are so cool. Seeing the Padawans running around in terror, I don't love seeing that, but seeing them run around and, like, try to, get away from the Stormtrooper, and that Stormtrooper's the clone troopers trying to kill them. The scenes eventually with where it's revealed where Reva sees Anakin and she actually gets stabbed at that point, and other things are really, really good and really have, like, really given a lot more weight to Order 66 than what we even got in the original Episode 3 when it premiered, when it came out. And it's just really cool to see that. And so I think they have been doing a really good job with this whole series with that dynamic between Anakin/Vader and Obi-Wan. And again, with, of course, Obi-Wan and Leia. Reva is also an awesome character too, and actually I hope she does get her own series. I think the actress deserved none of the hate and racism she got. You need to relax, and you're silly if you think you're a fan of Star Wars and somehow can be racist. You've missed the point. She is an amazing actress. Moses Ingram is an amazing actress, an awesome woman, and does a fantastic job in this series. I loved seeing the live action debut of the Inquisitors from what we got in Rebels and what it is here. This is set 5 years, I think, before Rebels, but still. And I like seeing the dynamic within that group, that they're all a bunch of conniving, manipulating little bitches that just are, like, constantly trying to screw each other over to, like, get a little, scritchy scratch, as it were, from Darth Vader. I think that's really interesting. And that, like, sick and kind of gross, twisted idea that some of them either A, were Force sensitive, or B, may have even been Padawans that were captured and basically tortured into becoming the Inquisitors, that they're hunting their own people, their own masters and other fellow students in Jedi, is really super chilling. And to see it, like, happen more in live action gives a different weight to it than what the shows do sometimes, like the CG animated shows and stuff like that. Not that they're not great, but to see it live action adds more to that. But Reva's an awesome character from beginning to end. She never wavers from her mission and wanting to find Obi-Wan. And the reason that she wants to, like I talked about, spoilers. You can skip this whole review. I'm going to talk about the whole thing, all the plot, everything. Her whole goal of it's like, why is she so? Is she like pissed at Obi-Wan specifically? A tiny bit. It's revealed that like she heard his message and like the message he gave about like warning the Jedi and everything, and thought that meant that he was giving up and never coming back to help her at all. And sort of, but like that really is not really what it was. But really, what it was that she really didn't care that much. She just wanted to seem committed to Vader so she could bring him Obi-Wan and then find a way to use that to strike back at Vader and get revenge on him because of what he did to her and the other Padawan. That it's all been this whole tale of revenge in that way. And that Obi-Wan's able to break through to her, able to tell her this is not what you have to be. You can still help like defeat him and stop him, but you don't have to stay here. And to see her in that final episode like throw away her lightsaber and give that all up, her like crying and like falling apart and like slowly coming away from the dark side and maybe more towards the light is really awesome. It'd be really cool to explore that in a series of her as a character. I think it's really cool that all these media pieces have opened up these other characters. It's like, where have they been? Well, yeah, I guess you could say that to an extent. That was one of some people's criticism when Rogue One was going to come out. It's like, well, all these badass characters in it, where were they during blah, blah, blah? Well, they all die in it. Spoilers, but they all die in it because it's the setup of getting the plans to the Death Star, so clearly none of them are going to live. And Rogue One is definitely the most Star Wars movie that there has ever been because of that. And I think that is kind of echoed here in a way as well, where things have a lot of like grit and like permanence to it and like, yep, they're done type of thing. And I like that. I think that's really cool. And it really centers on these ideas of like hope and, you know, dealing with your past, dealing with the future, dealing with the present. You know, are you going to let the past control you? Are you going to let your present stay stagnant? Are you going to try to have a better future? Whatever. There's moments in the beginning before he decides to help out, before he's approached by Bail Organa to get Leia, that Obi-Wan wants to help, but he pulls himself back. And it's sad because like it's more it almost it seems like, oh god, that's very selfish, but it's also like, what is he gonna do? He's one person. You know what I mean? Not that he's not badass, but you know what I mean? Like you kind of understand, and it's kind of sad to see him at this point. This person we've seen as a Jedi kind of fall so low that he's scared to even try and fight anybody. Is really interesting, and I really like it. The action scenes are great in it. I will say that like I wish they utilized Hayden Christensen a little bit more. I liked the one flashback scene we got of him and Anakin sparring was really cool, and how that reflected things in episode 5 of the show. I like seeing him at the end when he was able to hit the mask and showed his face, all that. It was really awesome as well. But it's altogether a really fantastic series and this really great character study of what happens to somebody that is completely defeated. Do they choose to stay there, let the galaxy fester and let things just die? Or do they find a new hope? I keep coming back to that. I know that sounds cheesy, but Luke and Leia are an inspiration to Obi-Wan. He sees in them what the Jedi could be, what the future could hold, that there is some kind of glimmer of hope and happiness in life, and that he wants to protect it. And I really, really enjoy that. It also fills in a lot of interesting gaps where Leia in episode 4 talked a lot about, oh, you mean Ben Kenobi? I know him and blah, blah, blah. And like mentioning different things and other things too. Like when the tracker is put in Lola and they realize that eventually the tracker's in Lola and they get the tracker out and whatever. She mentioned in episode 4 when they escaped the Death Star, somebody, I think Han was like, that was a little too easy. And she goes, yeah, it was. Unless they were tracking us. Instantly it clicks in her head that this happened previously and that they're probably just tracking them and that's why they let them go. Really cool connective pieces there. They don't have to be like in your face with it, but they're still there if you want to like read into it, a little bit more. I think that's the great thing about it. Did we need it? No, but was it awesome that it existed as a series? Absolutely. And honestly, I kind of think we did need it. It was cool to see these actors come back and be these characters and see this, huge tsunami of fans, gather around them and praise them for coming back and everything is so beautiful. And to see how like impacted they are. I mean, Ewan and Hayden both went back and watched all of the movies, even the sequel movies, and Clone Wars and Rebels. And like did as much research and character study as they could to get back into these roles. I think that's beautiful. I really hope that Hayden stays in acting, and maybe even is a part of like the Ahsoka series that they're doing or certain other things that he could be a part of. I think it would be really awesome to see that. I hope that there's a way for Ewan McGregor to still be a part of things through flashbacks or whatever, or maybe even another, series of another Obi-Wan season or whatever. But overall, I think Obi-Wan Kenobi is a fantastic season. There's lots of great character moments, really great emotional depth, awesome new characters, really great choreographed fight scenes. Just moments where you're like, yeah, he's finally back. There's a moment where, like, I think it's like episode 4 when he's going to save Leia, and there's these stormtroopers around him, and he, like, in the darkness, like, keeps igniting his lightsaber and turning it off, and, like, killing them, and then going back into hiding basically. And then there's another part where he does, like, a certain athletic kind of spin. It's like, that's the Obi-Wan we know, and I love seeing that, seeing him coming back to his roots as a Jedi and his connection to the Force and making him stronger is so cool. So it's a fantastic series. If you enjoyed the prequel movies in any way, if you love Obi-Wan, if you love Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, Star Wars in general, definitely watch it. It's on Disney Plus. All 6 episodes are available now if you want to watch it all the way through. It is a fantastic series with a lot to offer, and I really hope they keep going with these awesome series. Mandalorian's been great, Bad Batch has been amazing, Rebels, Clone Wars, all these shows, I really hope they keep going to really keep building this universe and giving us what we want as fans, as far as more content, more characters, more interesting stories between these characters and these different events and things. I really loved it. Score wise, probably would give it somewhere like a 9.5 out of 10, only because I wish that they would have done more with Hayden Christensen being a part of it. But I understand that he probably was limited in what he had to offer for time for it or whatever, or they had other plans with him or what have you. But hopefully he comes back in other projects, and same thing with Ewan McGregor. I love both of them. They're awesome actors, and I love they came back to the roles. So anyway, let me know in the comments below, what did you guys think of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series? I know it's a little different talking about Star Wars stuff, but I just want to add some other flair to the channel other than just the Toku stuff here and there. Not going to make it the main focus, just here and there talking about it. Let me know in the comments, what did you guys think of Obi-Wan? Your favorite episode, favorite part of the season, your favorite moment, character line, fight scene, whatever it might be. And as always, until next time, you stay hooked on Henshins. I'll talk to you later, and may the Force be with you. Damn. All right, bye-bye.